Thanks for tuning in to Sports by Jared. If you want to stay up to date on NBA news, hit the like and subscribe button and turn on your notifications. I want to talk to you about the team that I think is the winner of this offseason so far, and that's the Philadelphia 76ers. Not only were they able to get rid of a bloated contract in Al Horford, they were able to trade him for a guy who only has like a year left on his deal and is a much better shooter and probably an overall better defender than Al Horford is at this point and fits in better with their rotation. The 76ers last year struggled big time with their shooting after getting rid of J.J. Redick and some of the guys off the bench like Bellinelli. You could see that they just didn't have the chemistry to win in the playoffs or make it that far. I think if I was the 76ers, I'd be thinking that if last year they would have stand pat with the same team they had the year before, they probably could have made a trip to the finals or a better finals run. And I think they have the feeling that they blew it, not bringing J.J. Redick back, not trying to convince Jimmy Butler to stay. I think they did a really good job getting rid of Mike Brown. Doc Rivers is a better coach. Not to say that Mike Brown is a bad coach, but it just seemed like he never made the adjustments to keep his team in the game or to win. I think his team was much talented than a lot of teams they lost to in the playoffs, but because of his lack of adjustments and the lack of Ben Simmons getting better, the team just didn't gel like they used to. I think with the pickup of Danny Green, I think he'll be in the starting lineup next year, so you can see a lineup probably Ben Simmons back at point guard with Danny Green, Tobias Harris, Joel Embiid, and maybe they throw in Seth Curry at the 2 guard just to have that floor spacing. You can expect Tobias Harris to have a better season plan under Doc Rivers. Seth Curry is one of the most elite shooters in the league. Playing pick and roll with Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid and having those 2 shooters on the side doesn't make them lose anything on defense, but overall improves their offense to a point where teams can't just sag off in the paint and crowd Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons. I also like the pickup of Tyrese Maxey. I think with him either coming off the bench, possibly even starting, he has that dribble drive game and streaky shooting where like he shows up for big games. I think he's automatically going to come off the bench and be able to give you about 8 to 10 points in his rookie season, which is pretty big for a contender. We all saw what Tyler Hero did last year. Obviously, he's not as good of a shooter as Tyler Hero, but he's another one of those sneaky Kentucky guards. He looks a lot like Jamal Murray to me. Jamal Murray wasn't the greatest three-point shooter coming out of college, but he's obviously gotten better. But his off-the-dribble game, he almost looks exactly like Jamal Murray. Coach Cal loved him. I think he really sang his praises at the NBA draft last night. I think with the Nets not getting James Harden and the chemistry issues between Kyrie Irving and the role players on the Nets, it stands a good chance that there's going to be a team that could sneak out of the East and actually beat the Nets to the championship. As good as the Nets look on paper, some of the chemistry woes might lead them behind, and unless they get James Harden, I don't think they'll win the championship, especially with the Lakers returning, and especially with Klay Thompson getting hurt in the West. I think it's the Lakers' championship to win this year, but I think that the 76ers could at least make a title run, and who knows how injuries work out. If the Lakers, LeBron's getting old, if LeBron doesn't make it back this season, he might be able to, the 76ers might be able to win a championship. Joel Embiid is one of the most dominant centers in the game. Getting Ben Simmons to at least attempt a couple of jump shots here and there will definitely do wonders for the team. I think Mike Brown just didn't have a control of it. I think Doc Rivers will definitely get a better hustle out of the team. The 76ers have a lot of talent. They just, were classic underachievers. I think Doc Rivers can get more out of the team. He definitely will do better in the East. I think the West was a bloodbath to try to win a championship in. He had talented teams, but he always faced teams that were just as talented or even more. I think with the 76ers, he has at least a team that's top 2 talent in the East. The Nets won't be able to match up with Embiid I think Ben Simmons would be one of the better guys that you can put on Kevin Durant, even though Kevin Durant is unstoppable. But they really match up on paper well with just about any team if they're playing their best. So watch out for them. They would definitely look like one of the winners of the offseason. Seth Curry was a huge pickup. He's shown that he can give you 12, 13 points a game on good teams. The Dallas Mavericks are really going to miss him. I think giving up Josh Richardson wasn't a bad move at all. I think Josh Richardson helps the Dallas Mavericks a lot because they were lacking a lot on defense. Now they get a solid defensive player who can score, take some scoring off of Luka Doncic. So that trade was about fair for each team. But now the 76ers have the shooting that can unlock their potential. Wouldn't be surprised if they don't make the finals next year, but they did pick up enough young talent where they have about a 4 or 5 year window where they can make some noise. I think what'll help them get to the finals in the future is just having their team stick together, not making wholesale changes like they have in the past, but making minor changes and filling out their bench. Because as you've seen before, the key to winning championships is really your depth. I think the depth of the Lakers really showed up in the finals this year, even though most people didn't see it throughout the season. They had a lot of veteran guys who were able to step up in the playoffs and lead them to victory. I think if the 76ers keep picking up solid veterans and get a few veterans in free agency, they'll be one of the teams that'll be pretty scary going forward. Because you got to remember, Joel Embiid still isn't 30. Ben Simmons isn't 30 yet either. They got a pretty high window. Most players win championships going into their 28, 29, 30 season. So I wouldn't be too quick to try to break it up now. There's some guys, analysts trying to say that, the 76ers should break it up, get rid of Embiid or Ben Simmons. I don't think they'll get anywhere near the trade value they deserve. So you don't want to just give up superstars for players that aren't going to amount to the same kind of status. Like you want to trade superstars for guys with at least the potential to be superstars or for other superstars. So look for the 76ers to be a real problem in the East next year.